ready for short horror stories that will make you scream or cringe in discomfort. The Curse of Dead Man's Hill. Dead Man's Hill was a notorious stretch of road in rural Kentucky that had been the site of numerous accidents over the years. It was said to be cursed, and many locals avoided driving up the hill altogether. The story went that anyone who drove too fast on Dead Man's Hill would meet a terrible fate. Some claimed to have seen ghostly apparitions lurking at the top of the hill, while others reported hearing strange noises and experiencing unexplained phenomena. In one stormy night, a young couple named Emily and Ryan decided to take a drive up Dead Man's Hill. They were both experienced drivers, but they had heard the rumors and were skeptical about the curse. As they crested the hill, their car's headlights illuminated a figure standing in the middle of the road. It was an old man with a long white beard and piercing blue eyes. He seemed to be beckoning them towards him, but as they approached, he vanished into thin air. Emily and Ryan were shaken, but they continued on their way. As they descended the hill, they noticed that their car's tire had blown out. They pulled over to change the tire, but as they did, they heard a strange noise coming from the back of the car. It sounded like someone was whispering Emily's name. At first, they thought it was just the wind or their imagination, but then they heard Ryan's name being whispered too. Suddenly, the lights in the car began to flicker, and the engine sputtered. Emily and Ryan exchanged a terrified glance. They knew that they had to get out of there as fast as possible. As they fled down the hill, the whispering grew louder and more urgent. It sounded like someone was trying to tell them something, but they couldn't quite make out what it was. When they finally reached the bottom of the hill, they stopped the car and listened. The whispering had stopped, and an eerie silence had fallen over the road. But as they looked back up at the hill, they saw a figure standing at the top. It was the old man with the white beard and piercing blue eyes. This time, he beckoned to them again, but it was different this time. He seemed to be trying to convey a message. Emily and Ryan watched in horror as the old man began to speak, his voice echoing through the night air. "Don't go back," he said. "Don't drive on Dead Man's Hill again." Emily and Ryan knew that they had to listen. They got out of the car and drove away from the hill, not stopping until they were miles away. But even as they looked back in relief, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. They knew that the old man was still out there, waiting for them to make another mistake. From that day on, Emily and Ryan avoided Dead Man's Hill at all costs. But they never forgot the terror they had experienced that night, and they knew that some secrets were better left unspoken. Years went by, and the legend of Dead Man's Hill grew. People claimed to have seen ghostly apparitions and heard strange noises on the hill. Some even reported being pulled over by a phantom police officer who demanded to know why they had driven too fast. But one thing remained certain: Dead Man's Hill was cursed, and anyone who drove up it would be met with a terrible fate. Or so the legend went. In reality, Emily and Ryan never spoke about that night again. They built new lives for themselves, far away from the hill. But they knew that they had left something behind, something that could never be forgotten. And as The years passed. People began to whisper about the strange occurrences on Dead Man's Hill. Some said that Emily and Ryan were still trapped there, reliving the same terrifying night over and over again. Others claimed to have seen them driving by the hill, their eyes fixed on some unknown point in the distance. But one thing was certain: Dead Man's Hill remained a place of dark legend, a reminder of the terrible fate that awaited anyone who dared to drive too fast. The old man with the it beard and piercing blue eyes still stood watch at the top of the hill, waiting for his next victim. And as the sun set on another day, he smiled to himself, knowing that the curse was still alive and well, for on Dead Man's Hill, some secrets were better left unspoken. And once you had driven too fast, there was no turning back. Thank you for joining me on this terrifying journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spine-chilling tales. Until next time, stay safe and remember, some legends are more than just stories. Good night and sweet dreams.